Today, a fascinating head-to-head, Eritrea versus Yemen. We're asking who wins in global popularity. We'll dive deep, comparing 5 key areas: geopolitics, culture, diaspora, tourism, and sports, to pick an overall winner. Let's start with the world of geopolitics. I'm your host. Male voiceover, subtitles on, let's dive in. Yemen, often in the global spotlight. Its civil war and humanitarian crisis dominate international headlines, and its strategic location near the Bab el-Mandeb Strait raises security concerns. Eritrea, often called the North Korea of Africa for its isolationist policies, a strong military system and limited press freedom define its international image. Eritrea appears mainly in contexts of migration, regional conflict, and Red Sea security. Winner, Yemen. It's constantly in international headlines. Next, cultural influence. First, let's delve into the cultural fabric of each nation, starting with Eritrea. Its cultural identity is a fascinating tapestry woven from ancient African traditions and a surprisingly recent European colonial past. The capital, Asmara, is a living museum of Italian modernist architecture, a legacy of Italy's colonial ambitions in the 1930s. This has earned it the nickname Piccola Roma, or Little Rome, and its unique concentration of Art Deco, Futurist, and Rationalist buildings led to its designation as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a city where you can sip macchiatos in a classic Italian-style cafe while soaking in a distinctly African atmosphere. Eritrean music, or gwaila, is the nation's vibrant heartbeat, characterized by its unique pentatonic scale and infectious rhythms. It played a crucial role in the 30-year struggle for independence, with patriotic songs galvanizing fighters and civilians alike. Today it continues to evolve, blending traditional instruments like the krar and wada with modern sounds, creating a musical landscape that is both deeply rooted and contemporary. But perhaps the most cherished Eritrean cultural practice is the coffee ceremony. This is not a quick caffeine fix. It's an intricate hours-long social ritual. The ceremony unfolds in 3 ceremonial rounds, each believed to transform the spirit. From the initial roasting of the beans, which fills the air with an intoxicating aroma, to the final pour from the elegant clay, the ceremony is a cornerstone of hospitality and community, binding family and friends together. This tradition, along with Eritrean cuisine like the spongy injera bread and flavorful stews, has become a powerful cultural export, celebrated by the African diaspora worldwide. Across the Red Sea, Yemen boasts a culture steeped in antiquity. Its capital, Sana'a, is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. The Old City is a breathtaking labyrinth of ancient multi-story tower houses made of rammed earth, adorned with geometric friezes and exquisite stained glass windows. This architectural marvel, also a UNESCO site, speaks to a history of immense wealth and sophisticated engineering. Yemen is the historical heartland of the coffee trade. The world owes its love for coffee, and even the name of the mocha bean, to Yemen's ancient port of Mocha, from where coffee cultivation spread globally. While Eritrea's coffee culture is defined by intimate ceremony, Yemen's is defined by its monumental history and its impact on the world economy for centuries. Social life in Yemen is often centered around the afternoon tradition of chewing khat. These mild stimulant leaves are a deeply ingrained part of the social fabric, used during business negotiations, social gatherings, and quiet contemplation. While its economic and health impacts are debated, its role as a social lubricant is undeniable. Furthermore, Yemen's contributions to music and poetry resonate throughout the Arab world. The musical tradition known as the Song of Sana'a is another of its UNESCO intangible cultural heritages. For centuries, Yemeni poetry has been a celebrated art form, capturing the nation's history, struggles, and soul, earning it deep respect across the Middle East. In the sporting arena, Eritrea excels in cycling, another legacy of Italian influence, producing world-class athletes who compete on the global stage, including the Tour de France. In Yemen, football is king, a source of national pride and unity amidst ongoing conflict. So, who takes the cultural crown? This is incredibly tough. Eritrea's culture is a unique and resilient blend that has captivated those who encounter it. However, for its sheer historical depth and broader global and regional impact, the win goes to Yemen. From giving the world coffee to shaping architectural and poetic traditions across the Arab world for millennia, Yemen's cultural footprint is historically more profound and widespread. Its influence is foundational to many aspects of modern global and Middle Eastern culture. But a nation's influence isn't just measured by its history within its borders, it's also carried abroad by its people. Now let's look at the global reach of their diasporas. A nation's strength isn't just measured within its borders. For countries shaped by conflict and migration, the diaspora, the community of people living outside their homeland, is a vital extension of national identity and influence. Both Eritrea and Yemen have vast global communities, each forged in the crucible of their unique histories, and each playing a critical role in the fate of their motherland. But whose diaspora has a greater global impact? Let's start with Eritrea. Decades of struggle, first during the long war for independence from Ethiopia, and then under an authoritarian government, have created waves of migration. Today, large Eritrean communities are found across Europe and North America, with significant populations in Germany, Sweden, the former colonial power Italy, and the UK. A primary driver for the recent exodus is the country's policy of mandatory, indefinite national service, which many describe as a form of forced labor, compelling thousands of young people to undertake perilous journeys to escape. This shared experience of hardship has forged a politically charged diaspora, but one that is deeply polarized. On one side, you have fervent government supporters who organize cultural festivals and loyally pay a 2% income tax to the regime, providing it with a crucial source of foreign currency. On the other, a vocal and organized opposition tirelessly campaigns against human rights abuses. They protest in front of the UN in Geneva and lobby Western governments, seeking to hold the Eritrean leadership accountable for its actions. This internal division, while demonstrating passionate engagement, can sometimes fracture the diaspora's collective influence on the world stage. Now let's turn to Yemen. Yemen has a much longer and more layered history of emigration. For centuries, Yemeni traders and sailors established communities across the Indian Ocean and beyond. In the UK, cities like Cardiff and Sheffield have Yemeni populations dating back to the 19th century. But the modern diaspora has been overwhelmingly shaped by economic necessity, and since 2014, a devastating civil war. Huge numbers of Yemenis reside in the Gulf states, though their status there is often precarious. In the West, the Yemeni diaspora has put down deep roots. The United States, particularly in cities like Dearborn, Michigan, is home to a thriving and increasingly influential Yemeni American community. They are a powerful economic force known for their entrepreneurial spirit, running thousands of small businesses, from local bodegas in New York City to larger enterprises. This economic integration has paved the way for growing political power. While individuals like Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib represent their interests, Yemeni Americans themselves are becoming more civically engaged, advocating for their communities and for an end to the conflict back home. They are also a humanitarian lifeline, sending billions in remittances and organizing aid efforts to support family members caught in the world's worst humanitarian crisis. So, who takes the point? While the Eritrean diaspora is a potent political force, its deep internal divisions and more recent, often refugee-driven settlement can limit its unified impact. Yemen's diaspora, by contrast, is not only larger but also benefits from a longer history of integration in key countries. Its significant economic power through business and remittances, combined with a growing and visible political influence in the West, gives it a more established and arguably stronger global footprint. For its deep roots and multifaceted influence, the winner is Yemen. From the people who have left to the people we hope will visit. Next up, tourism and national image. Where do travelers flock, and which nation projects a more winning image to the world? When it comes to tourism, Eritrea presents itself as Africa's secret, a nation frozen in time. Its primary draw is Asmara, a city so architecturally unique it was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2017. Built by Italian colonizers, it's a stunning showcase of modernist and futurist design, a time capsule of Italian colonial ambition. Buildings like the airplane-shaped Fiat Tagliero service station and the Grand Cinema Impero feel like a step back into a bygone era. Beyond the capital, Eritrea's Red Sea coast is a magnet for adventurous divers. The Dahlak Archipelago, a largely uninhabited cluster of over 120 islands, boasts some of the world's most pristine marine ecosystems. Its clear waters are a graveyard for shipwrecks from World War II and the Eritrean War of Independence, creating a unique subaquatic museum for divers. This attracts niche travelers willing to overlook limited infrastructure for the reward of exploring reefs seen by very few. However, this potential is severely capped by the state's tight grip. Obtaining a visa is a notoriously difficult process. Once inside, tourists are restricted to Asmara and require special permits to travel anywhere else. This heavy-handed approach, born from a deep-seated political isolation and suspicion of the outside world, means that despite its unique offerings, Eritrea's tourism industry remains embryonic with visitor numbers in the low thousands annually. Yemen, in stark contrast, was once a titan of cultural tourism. Its image was that of an ancient jewel box. The old city of Sana'a, a UNESCO site, was a living museum of tower houses decorated like gingerbread. The 16th century walled city of Shibam, with its mud brick skyscrapers, earned the nickname Manhattan of the Desert. And then there was the island of Socotra, so biologically unique with its alien-like dragon's blood trees that it's often called the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean. Today that image is shattered. Years of brutal civil war have not only created a devastating humanitarian crisis but have also obliterated Yemen's tourism industry. Mainland Yemen is a no-go zone. The sole exception is Socotra. Its isolation has largely shielded it from the fighting, and a trickle of intrepid travelers still make the difficult and risky journey. But this is expedition-level travel, not tourism, undertaken in a highly complex and unstable environment. The comparison is stark. Eritrea's tourism is limited by its own government's policies of control. It offers a safe, if highly restrictive, experience. Yemen's tourism, once rich and vibrant, has been almost entirely erased by conflict. What remains is a ghost of its former self, with only one remote island accessible to the most daring adventurers. For the average traveler, Eritrea is difficult. Mainland Yemen is impossible. For its relative safety and the simple fact that a tourism infrastructure, however limited, still exists, Eritrea takes this category. Winner, Eritrea, the safer, niche tourism pick. Finally, let's turn to the world of sports and entertainment. Eritrea, strong reputation in long-distance running, think Zersane Tadezi. Cycling is growing as well, giving Eritrea athletic visibility. Yemen, soccer is popular at home, but international representation is limited. On the global stage, Eritrea has the edge in athletics. Winner, Eritrea. Athletics give it a global sporting profile. Time to tally the results. Recap: Yemen wins geopolitical presence, cultural influence, and diaspora strength. Final verdict: Yemen dominates in global visibility, but Eritrea holds a quiet, growing appeal. Overall popularity winner, Yemen. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more geopolitical breakdowns, and tell us what matchup you want next.